Greetings, Legionus. I haven't done one of these videos in a while where, it actually shows me rather than just some game I'm trying to play. I do apologize for that. Ever since we moved, I haven't had a decent backdrop, but luckily, my Parmakai recently set one up because she has certain job applications and scholarships that she applies to that require her to make videos. So she set one up, and so I'm just borrowing it for the time being. In any case, well, first of all, you can see I'm wearing the 3D printed helmets that I created. I recently used my heated X-Acto blade to widen the hole my head goes through. Because before, while I could get it on relatively easy, getting it back off was anxiety-inducing in the extreme because it would catch on my ears so hard it would be extremely painful. So yeah, putting on this helmet, anxiety-inducing. Now, it just makes me lightheaded, as the helmet is very good at trapping all my breath inside and making the atmosphere quite hot and humid. Mystery solved about why sergeants, don't wear their helmets. These fans must break quite easily, and then it gets hot and humid. And line troopers aren't allowed to take off their helmets, because they don't have the authority. Sergeants do, so they take them off, not hot and humid, and if the Adeptus Mechanicus actually cared about anything, they'd keep these fans up and running. That way, it wouldn't get hot and humid inside of the helmets, and you wouldn't get... Holy crap. I'm actually having a little bit of a hard time breathing here. Don't worry, if I pass out, well, I'm sure you will all laugh, and, for that matter, so will my Parmakai. So everyone will have a good time but me. Alright, moving on. So recently, I decided I wanted to make a reply video to Shadiversity when he was talking about dwarves. And I love Shadiversity's videos. I especially loved one where he talked about the angels, and he went very in-depth on certain fighting styles they have. Like in the fact that, due to their wings, using a sword for them would be extremely difficult, aka really stupid. They could quite potentially chop one of their own wings off, or, hurt themselves, that kind of thing, due to the fact of, swinging the sword behind them, that sort of thing. Well, when it came to dwarves, he didn't get nearly this in-depth, and, that kind of thing. He didn't analyze them, in my opinion, nearly to the same degree. Well, I talked about how I wanted to make a reply video to that, and Jake Wu commented and said that, someone already had made a reply video, and pointed me in the direction of Poohead189. And I went and watched Poohead's video, and, I was not disappointed. Poohead had a great video, where, he addressed many of the things I wanted to talk about, and even one that I didn't, and I was thrilled to see that. Thank you very much, Poohead189. I'm still having a hard time not laughing every time I say that name, so thank you for that. Anyway, I know, you can't tell because I'm wearing the helmet, and because it's hot and humid in here, so it's actually a little bit easier not to laugh due to the fact that I'm paying so much attention to all of this.
Laughing would make you pass out.
What?
Laughing would make you pass out.
Yeah, if I laughed, it might just be the little push over the edge that would make me legitimately pass out. Plus, the fact I have asthma. Combine that with everything else, and pushing myself through this is probably a really bad idea. Yet I'm doing it. And I actually don't like this forward grill on Space Marine helmets, because it's like a huge little blocker where a projectile, it's a weak point, and there's even a lip to it, so, projectiles that hit the edge are more inclined to, punch in towards it, and a bolt around could punch straight through it, and I've always thought of it as a huge weakness, and when I printed my own helmet, I was like, I wish I hadn't printed this part, though. I wish I'd modded it to have some other thing. Well, if I hadn't printed that, and this was a fully sealed up helmet with no grill, I would be dying so much worse right now. So I'm really, really grateful that I printed a helmet with this grill right here. Holy terror. If I ever cosplay in this thing, whew, I've got to figure this out because it's getting really hot in here.
You'll need an inhaler inside of there.
Great. Then I'll sound like Darth Vader. Once in a while, they'll just hear this. And I'll just be like, what the crap? Did Darth Vader just change to a frickin' Space Marine helmet all of a sudden? Seriously. I genuinely think people might have that reaction. Or, I would need to take my helmet off and, gasp for breath for a good 5 minutes while the sweat, evaporated, and then stick my helmet back on and go through it all again.
Maybe they would think you're using the helmet to hide that you're doing drugs. Because the first time you used your inhaler, and I just heard this, wheezing, puffing sound, I was really scared, and I thought you were doing drugs.
Yeah, I think I was Skyping with her, and I even shook the thing in front of her for a while, and then inhaled, and she acted really awkward after. I had no idea why. I mean, an inhaler is an inhaler. I've seen people use it in the movies all the time.
Yeah, I'd never seen one.
Weird. Well, then again, I guess the first time I actually saw an inhaler was when I watched It for the first time. And I think it was the really... I don't remember any of the characters of the kids, the names in it. Any of the names of the characters in it. I just remember, I think it was the really fat kid. He had an inhaler, and I saw him use it, and I asked my parents what that was. Oh, and my dad has asthma, probably who I got it from. So that probably, I saw him use it, I don't know how many times. I grew up around that kind of thing. So she thought I was doing drugs while, around the time we first met, just, randomly was like, and then suddenly I'm, inhaling deeply and sounding very satisfied, and she was just, really concerned, thinking that, great, so I'm dating a, well, I don't even know what to call it, a druggie. Anyway, getting back to it, yeah, they'd either, wonder if I was Darth Vader or if I was a druggie secretly, just taking puffs inside my helmets. But they'd probably smell it unless, my helmet was somehow self-contained, which would kind of be impressive. Anyway, on this helmet, I still need to get eye lenses and all of that. It still needs several upgrades, not to mention it needs to be glazed, and I'm only just barely filling in all the cracks from where I glued it together with liquid green stuff and other things like that. And yeah, anyway, long story short, back to the Shadiversity thing. So after watching Poohhead189's video and honestly being impressed at what he covered, I've trying to reassert, do I really want to still do a response video to Shadiversity on this subject, because I still feel passionately about it, and he hasn't corrected himself. Shadiversity always says that if he's wrong about something, he wants to know, and he'll, correct himself or something like that. I've yet to see any correction on this matter, and maybe it just doesn't matter enough to him. I mean, obviously it mattered a little, because otherwise I don't know why he would have done a video in the first place. But I feel like maybe it just doesn't matter enough, or Poohhead has 75 or so subscribers, I think. So maybe Shadiversity just hasn't seen the video. Maybe, I don't know. I think they were both created back in 2016, so he's had 3 years to see it, I think. I don't know. I'm going to create my own reply video where I'll touch on essentially anything that I think Poohhead missed, because, he was pretty thorough, and expand upon anything that I feel needs expanding upon. But yeah, one thing Poohhead did cover that I didn't think about, was the fact that a lot of dwarves in their official artwork, commissioned, by the actual companies and whatnot, you'll notice that their arms are pretty long compared to, the rest of their bodies, giving them a rather simian look. And how this would affect their fighting style. And when I realized that, I was like, holy Terra, that really, really would. That would completely affect their fighting style. Short, stubby, incredible. Oh. And the thing that messed up Shad's entire video. Dwarves are stronger than men. Easily. I mean, every fantasy universe I've ever gotten into, that's always either alluded to or clearly stated. In Lord of the Rings, it's never outright said, but it's alluded to several times that dwarves are indeed stronger than men. And Shadiversity's video was essentially based off the concept of dwarves having the same strength as men, which is never gonna stop bugging me. I know I said this in my last video, but that is just not gonna stop bugging me. Anyway, because it completely threw off the rest of his video. What was otherwise a great video got completely destroyed because of that. Not completely. He still had some good points, which I will attempt to cover when I put together my own video on the subject. But yeah, in any case. Alright, everyone. Well, that pretty much concludes this for now. If you have any thoughts or feelings on this subject, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you disliked it, well, thanks for hanging around this long, and please let me know why. And if you're new to the channel and genuinely enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing. In any case, don't get into too much trouble, and it's always up to you. Doodles!